Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a beginning of the month for February tarot oracle reading. And Scorpio, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Scorpio, we still all have a little bit of Scorpio in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is Scorpio in? That's where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. Keep in mind, this is a general or a collective reading, so parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you and leave the rest. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it's the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on back then in your life? That could really give you some further clarity regarding your situation now. All right, so we're going to take the bottom card from the deck for the underlying energy for the reading. And we have the High Priestess. That's not surprising because we do have a full moon. Watch out for low-flying witches. So the High Priestess is highly intuitive. She sits on the throne next to God, and she is actually uses her intuition with the cycles of the moon. And she's sitting between two towers here, and this tower represents the devil, and this tower represents Jesus Christ. And so she is sitting between, so she is neutral to the extremes, and she is neutral to whatever is in between. And she is using her intuition in regard to the cycles of the moon to be able to know when to release, which is at the full moon, and get ready for the new energy in the new moon. And so that's the energy that is the underlying energy. That's not surprising because, as I said, we do have a full moon. The full moon is in Leo. And this energy has been coming up in a lot of the cards, and it's like, I'm just going to see what the next underlying energy for the internal forces is. So this is about pentacles. This is awesome. This is a reward coming in for being on your path. And this is like following your North Star. And because you followed your North Star, that's the guiding star that led the wise men to Jesus Christ when he was born. And so this energy is talking about being rewarded for staying on your destined path. You know, God has a plan for each and every one of us. And you haven't, well, you may have strayed, but you've gotten back on it when you have. And so this is talking about following your North Star so that you can receive this reward. So the pentacles are health, wealth, happiness. A big part of the energy of, you know, in 3D here on planet Earth is money. So it is money, but money is just one form of that energy. You could have all the money in the world and still not have the lifestyle that you want. And so this is more about lifestyle on planet Earth and being able to bring that in. So I'm going to get back now to the full moon so I don't forget. So since the moon is coming up very first thing, the full moon is on February 1st, but we're definitely feeling that energy now. It's the 29th as I'm doing this, and it'll be the 30th when it's when I upload it. And so we're, you know, you for sure can feel the full moon 3 days before and 3 days after, and probably longer for a lot of people. But this is saying, like, if there's we are leaving the year of the snake energy, and we're moving into the year of the fiery horse on the February 17th. And on that day, there's also a new moon, and there's also an eclipse of a solar eclipse. So there's going to be a lot of energy that's really powerful on that day. And so you want to release anything, especially when you consider we're leaving the year of the snake. And what does the snake do? It sheds its skin. And so that's the energy that you want to be in. You want to shed, during this week, you know, shed what no longer suits you. Shed, you know, let go of your fears, let go of what's holding you back, let go of your obsessions, that kind of energy. And the full moon is in Leo, as I said. And so Leo energy is about, you know, Leos are born to lead. A lot of that Leo energy, they're very charismatic, and, you know, they're very charming. And so that energy is also makes them good leaders. having said that, it makes them convincing to other people. And so, but the Leo energy right now is saying, I want to shine my own light for me. I want to look after my needs. I want to express myself. I want to be myself. And I want to put myself first at this time. And across the wheel in the horoscope from the Leo energy is the Aquarius energy. And Aquarius energy, that's where the sun is right now. The sun is shining its light on the Leo energy. And Leo is ruled by the sun, so they're really feeling it. Leos are really feeling this energy right now. So if you know a Leo, give them some space. But the Leo energy, like this, the Aquarius energy is saying, no, you have to look after the group. You have to look after, your family. You have to look after your responsibilities. You have to look after the whole world, Leo. And Leo's like, no. And so there's this inner battle, like about, okay, who do I put first here? And so, if you've ever been on an airplane, they'll say, that if you're on an airplane and the oxygen masks come down, make sure you put yours on first. The very first instinct that a mother is going to have for sure is, if she's got a baby, I'm going to put the mask on the baby, make sure they get oxygen first. The problem with that is that if you faint, who's going to look after the baby? And there's chaos all over. Like the baby's not going to be able to put the mask on you and empower you. So that's why sometimes you have to put your oxygen mask on first, so you're able to look after the people around you. There's a balance there, and you have to get in that balance. And so this energy, the pentacle, the reward that's coming in from the divine and the universe, is actually is your internal forces. So this is the bottom part of this reading. We're talking about your internal forces, the what ifs. That's when, if you're laying in bed and you're asking, what if this happens? And if I do that, what if this happens? And if I do this, what if that happens? And what if that person does that? And you could go on, and you can get caught in a loop. And so those are your internal forces. And you do have control over your internal forces. You don't have control over the external forces. You can't control other people, what they're going to say and do, but you can control your reaction or your response. And so that's the energy of the internal forces. We also have the energy of the Two of Wands starting off here. So this is the energy that you are identifying with right now. And this is talking about you're at the top of your turret overlooking your kingdom. And you're like, I'm feeling kind of bored. It's that kind of energy. And you've got the world in your hands, and you're thinking, I don't know. I think I've conquered everything here. The people in your community are looking up to you, and they're like, wow, that person's really, really doing really well. And everybody in the community is like, wow, they're so young to have that kind of success and that kind of energy. And, look what they've accomplished. And it could be like, you could be any age, but it's that kind of energy. But you're recognizing that, this is just a very small part of the world. And that you want to expand your horizons. You want to explore new. And that's that energy coming up for the new year in the fiery horse energy. New, new, new. I want new. And this energy is talking about being able to, like, this is kind of like franchising energy. Wands represent actions. And so this is talking about you're standing up there and you're feeling like a big fish in a little pond. And even though everybody looks up to you and it's kind of cool, that, if you go travel somewhere else, that you're just a small fish in a big pond. And you get that, and you're starting to realize that, and you're realizing, I think I want to expand my horizons. This is kind of my card where I really feel like this is entrepreneur energy, where maybe you've been working, like it could be business energy, something you're very passionate about, whatever cause or whatever you're, passionate about. This is, you've planted that in one place, and now you need to expand your horizons and look into the future and go big or go home. That's the energy. Maybe that'll be the name of this reading. Go big or go home. We'll see. And then we have, look at this. We have, it's a whole new world then. And so when the Fool begins his journey at the 0 point, And that's kind of this energy here. And he's deciding, okay, I'm going to go explore the world now. And that's what I feel this energy is. So you're in the decision-making process right now. You feel like you've done everything you can here with the people you've done it with, and you need to move, and you want to explore other options. Maybe there's water here. Maybe you want to even go international with your business. You want to create a franchise in another location, or you want to take what you're doing, your project, and change it slightly and move in a different direction, that kind of energy. But you want to do it in a different way and with different people in a different location. And then this is talking about the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords, she's sitting on her throne, and she's learned discernment. She has been there, done that. She has the T-shirt, and she has her sword up in her right hand, saying, "Hey, you better come in correct to me, or don't even bother talking to me." That's the energy she's in. And she's got her left hand up, saying, "I'm willing to receive this reward, but my intuition tells me that there's something here that I need to know before I would accept that offer." And I've got my head above the clouds. So whatever information you have about this idea, whatever, it better be like the true information, or off with your head. That's the kind of energy the Queen of Swords is in. She's considered to be like the coldest of all the queens, and it's not like she necessarily is even that way, but she's in that energy because she has seen it all. And she's like, learn my lessons. I'm engaging with people that don't come in straight up. And so she's using her intellect as well as her intuition to guide her in the choices she makes and who she does what with. And so this could be you could be in this Queen of Swords energy, thinking, you know what? I'm tired of being where I'm at, and I need to expand my horizons. And then we have, oh, look at that. The Nine of Swords. This is so interesting because this is, okay, so you're Scorpio, so I'm on the 8th reading now, and I think all but one have had this card in it. So this card quite often is a never-ending nightmare that never ends, and it's really boring, or it's really upsetting, and you wake up in the middle of the night and you don't really, you don't know how to solve it. Or it could be that you're just really, really bored, like suffocatingly bored. And that's what this energy, so many people, this card has come up like out of 7 of 8 readings. And it's interesting because when I looked it up, Groundhog Day is on the 2nd February. So this energy of wanting to express yourself and this boredom is like rampant right now in the energy. Like if it's coming up in every reading, pretty much. It's usually this is a never-ending nightmare, but this is like never-ending boredom. And the energy here, when we're in school, we're taught that, the planets, they all revolve around each other perfectly, around the sun. And they're all in perfect order, but that's not really what's happening. We're really moving and we're spiraling and we're like this. So we're never, ever really in the same place at the same time. It just feels like it. We might be in the same routine, but we're not in the same place. So you can never have it exactly the same. And so this energy is like, if you've ever gone on one of those all-inclusive, holidays where you go for a week and you fly in with a bunch of people from where you live and you go to this resort and you drink and you eat and it's all inclusive. And you're on the beach and it's sunny and it's beautiful, and then they have like all those activities, and they'll have activities for kids. So it's a great holiday if you just need to want to get away for a week and lay on the beach. Having said that, if you extend that holiday like even 2 weeks, you'll start to notice, like when you first get there, you're in awe, like you just came from the winter. And like in Canada, it can be really cold. And you get off the plane and the weather's beautiful and you can smell the flowers and you're like, oh, and it's so beautiful, and the hotel, it looks so nice and clean, and the food is good, and like you're enjoying yourself, and you meet the other people at the resort, and you bump into friends of yours, and like it's that kind of energy. And after a week, you're like, get me out of here. Because even when the new people come in, you're still like, you're in the same, it's like taking all the people from where you live and going on a holiday with them and never engaging in a new way. So eventually you get bored, and that's the kind of energy that this is. It's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It's just that you're bored, and that is the energy I'm reading off this card. Normally, this card is more like a nightmare, but it is a nightmare if you're bored. I don't have that problem. I don't get bored very easily. When I was younger and I got bored, and I'd say to my mother, I'm bored, she'd say, oh, perfect. I was looking for someone to clean out the toilets in the house, you know. So you learn not to say you were bored around her. And so this is the energy of the hangman. And so the hangman's hanging from the tree of knowledge, and he's wanting to get a different perspective. That's why he's upside down. And when his head lights up like this, it's representing his aura. And he's been enlightened now, and he has an idea, okay, what am I going to do about this boredom? What am I going to do to get this? He's using his intuition. This is a state of meditation, basically. Some people actually meditate upside down like this. And then we have the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is sitting on her throne, and she's passionate. Like she's really warm, and she's a natural beauty, and she really uses her intuition and her logic. She's very optimistic, has a sunny disposition. You know, the sunflowers follow the sun. So she doesn't, she's really into you, she's aware of the problems around her, but she's like, I'll just find a solution. She uses her logic and her intuition, and she comes to creative solutions for problems. And she really is an independent person and does things her way and doesn't really care what other people say or do about, you know, things. A lot of times she's the one that everybody gossips about because she seems so independent and like what's with her. And this one is a different independence. This is like someone who's probably divorced. This is someone who's just naturally that way. Always looking for like this energy is like the fire signs, and the fire signs have a tendency just to like to go on adventures to learn something new that day. And so they can entertain themselves quite easily because of that. They can get passionate about something for about a week. And then when they've finished learning about it, they'll find something else to be passionate about. That's just the energy of this wand energy. This represents a tree. It's made of wood, and it's representing the tree, like the tree of knowledge. And the trees have deep roots that go to the ancestors, and the offshoots are like your descendants. So this is an energy. And she has this little black cat here. And one thing about cats is they have 9 lives. So I feel like that's like, you know, this is someone that might go, you know, scuba diving and jump out of a plane and, you know, do activities like that other people are afraid to do. Kind of they'll travel to places and, you know, far away in different cultures and explore that. It's a different, you won't catch them sitting at a resort with their friends from home. That's not their thing. So this is that kind of energy, and that's what we're dealing with here. So let's see, we have 2 queens out. We're going to see here what this is about. So this is how you identify right now, is that you really, and I feel like you've been successful. We don't have a lot of pentacle cards out here or any love right now. So this is purely about this energy I feel from the full moon coming in, about really wanting to meet your needs, like being able to express yourself, like who you are inside. And then this is talking about you feel like you have the world in your hands where you are, and you want to expand that to, you understand that you're big fish in a little pond in where you live, but if you go out, you know, into the world, you're going to be a small fish in a big pond. And you want to explore that big pond. And here we have the communication in early life. So it could be very cut and dried is what I'm getting. When you were being raised, like you may have been raised by parents that were very maybe sarcastic, I'm getting, and cut and dried. Why can't I do that? Because I said so. Okay, good enough. I'm bored. Good. I was looking for someone to clean the toilets. That kind of energy. And so it's not that there's a lot of love possibly there, but it just was very, okay, but there's certain ways that you have to behave in this house. This is my home and I'm ruling it, that kind of energy. And so you learn discipline from your parents. And then there's your emotional foundation right now. And it's you're feeling this energy. So this can represent like something that there might be something going on in your life that's like really bothering you at the same time, but I'm also getting this is boredom. And then we have creativity, romance, and children in this house here. So it could be maybe you have children and you're kind of trying to find a way to raise your children, like you might be a homeschooler kind of parent, or just someone that wants to raise your kids on the way you want to raise them, and it might be slightly different from how other people do. I'm just picking up that kind of energy, and I'm like maybe doing a lot of arts with them, like like crafts and teaching them, learning how to plant things and that kind of energy instead of everything by the book. And then we have the health and daily routines and habits. So the Queen of Wands, I had her upside down here. This is about being able to be in your daily routine. This is not someone who's usually like has a set routine. She goes by the way the day works out for her kind of energy. She sets the tone for the day. And if she, like one day she might have this routine and another day she'll have another. She doesn't, it doesn't concern her that much. Just like the cat, a lot of people won't get a black cat. She's like, if I want a black cat, I'll have a black cat. And I'm not going to worry about the superstition around it. And she, interestingly enough also, she is the only one in all of the wand, the face cards, that doesn't have a salamander or the circular salamanders on her robe, there's no salamander anywhere. There's just this superstitious black cat. And that's because the salamanders represent protection from fire, and she does not need protection from fire because she is the one who sets the tone and she commands it. That's the energy. So that's kind of where you are. So you're in you're bored, but otherwise you're doing great. So let's see what's going on in the external forces. So the external forces we have, this is someone who feels the need to get away from this, and you're contemplating it, how you're going to do it. And this is talking like quite often. This is rowing. This water here represents, the rough waters represent like volatile emotions, and the smooth water represents being calm. And so this is wanting to row off to calmer waters, and this is about going with God's plan here so that you can. So this energy is the external forces are maybe the thoughts of what other people think that you need to do, and you're having trouble seeing through it. And I feel like these two here, this child next to her, that quite often does represent someone who's looking after wounds from when they were growing up, from their subconscious mind. And it could represent also this energy of feeling caught between the energy of should I look after myself here because I really feel like I need to do something, or do I need to put everybody else first? This energy it can be really challenging. It's this pull to get this is a conveyor, and so the conveyor here is God. But this is like having to really dig deep with that pull to push off. So it's like really having to dig deep in your emotions to be able to make this choice, right? And a lot of times this kind of card represents to me, if you're ever in this position, and there's lots of people that are, it's representing when you have young children and you also have aging parents and you're working, and you have to pay the mortgage still, and your children are in a lot of events, and all of a sudden you're looking after your parents, and you're looking after your children who they still need to be driven to all their events and stuff. And so you're caught in the middle and you're working full time and you have a house to run and you have a yard to look after and you have pets. It's that kind of energy. It's like a lot of people get caught like that. It's just the way it is. It's the way life is these days. And so this energy, it's kind of being like really having very little time for yourself and just realizing, hey, I'm running down on energy here. That's the energy I'm picking up. So Scorpio is kind of, is about uniting people, and you can either, it's either about elevating people or conquering people, basically. Scorpio energy is really deep emotional energy. There's 3 water signs, and the first one is the energy of Cancer, which is more like adolescent girls, like that just got their cycle, kind of, volatile emotions. And then Scorpio's in the middle, and that's an energy of really, this can be a lot of steam. It's Scorpio energy is the sexual gladiator, and they're a very deep thinker, and emotionally, they can become like very much in this energy of like the queen. Like I've been there, done that, and so you have to remember that it is represented by the scorpion, and scorpions have a stinger. So the Scorpio energy can be very biting if you irritate them. That's the kind of energy. And then we have, this is talking about, so external forces. This is talking about pouring a lot of energy into something. Of course, this can represent coin because this is the Pentacles, but it's also representing lifestyle. So the time that you've invested in people, this could represent all the people that you're investing your time in right now. And like we kind of have that at the front of the boat here, there's, this is the 6 of Swords, and this is the 6 of Pentacles. And so you're looking, wow, I'm investing all that time into all of these other people, and I have this left for myself kind of energy. And of course, that's going to affect your finances. So you're looking at it and you're going like, something's got to change. I can't just like, this isn't right. There's like, I feel totally drained. That's the energy. So if you don't deal with it, the universe will deal with it for you. And so then we have the Tower coming in. And because this energy can lead to a lot of problems in your own marriage with your own children, like, because this is too much for one person to do on their own kind of energy. So the reality check, the Tower, the lightning hits you're still standing up there trying to decide, like, should I make this change? Bang! The lightning hits. You've been waiting, the universe was whispering to you, hey, you need to take a look at this. And you're like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. And then the universe takes a frying pan and whacks you over the head with it. And you're like, oh, okay. I promise I'll look into it next week. I'm too busy now. I got to get the kids here. I got to get my parents to the doctor, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then bang, the lightning hits. And your tower is you don't have a tower anymore to stand on. So now your castle's on fire, and the people in it are falling out of it. And one of them looks really surprised, and the other one is kind of like, no, I knew this was going to happen. And this card in my oracle, can quite often represent divorce. But the worst divorce is from source. So if you go off your designated path, and that's when you end up in this energy, or you get really bored. And especially with the year of the horse energy, it's like, it's really freeing energy, but if it really warns about being impulsive and taking impulsive actions, and also about like running like too hard, like doing too much in a short period of time and burning yourself out kind of energy. And so the Tower hits, and you're the wounded warrior now. That's the energy. This is the external forces coming in. So these are all the actions that you've had to take to be able to keep everybody happy here. That's the energy I'm getting. And this is you. You're like exhausted. your Band-Aid is like on your head, you've got a headache, you know, you're leaning on the ninth wand, you've survived it, you're still standing. And it's saying, though, that a wounded warrior is someone that has stayed on their path, and they're not, they're doing the best that they can, doing everything as best they can, but it's just too much for one person. And so that's the energy, that's the danger of, especially in 2026, is it's a driving force. And if you've ever been on a horse and you've ridden a horse, like you're on them, and it's just like when you're riding a horse, you just feel so free. But if the horse gets the bit in its mouth and it starts to run, it's really dangerous, because you're not going to be able to stop that horse, and it'll run until you fall off and you could really hurt yourself, or it'll just keep running until it tires out. And it's kind of like, if you run like that in your life, you could, if you go for a run, halfway through the run, the positive endorphins kick in, and then you're like, oh, I can't even remember what I was so angry about, and you go home and you're in a good mood, and like your mind is fresh, you're feeling better. But on a horse, you could go miles in the wrong direction, and it could be really challenging to find your way back. And so it's like, really avoid that impulsive energy right now, just because you're bored. You'll regret it. Most likely, you'll regret it later. And then this is talking about, you have a strong foundation, because I haven't, like, there's money here, but it's like, it's not a lot, and it's kind of like there's some concerns about it, and also your lifestyle, etc. And again, this is a short person, and they're standing in front of their city. And this is, don't sell yourself short. And this can be that in the past, maybe it's due to your circumstances. You've had to, like, this represents 3 levels of money. This is safe money, that you have a strong foundation, but you don't ever want to risk anything. So you miss out on a lot of opportunities because of it. This is when you take smaller risks, but you go after your heart's desires. And then this is the crowning glory, where you're saying, hell, let's just go for it. And that's the kind of energy, that impulsive energy, that you don't want to be in right now. If you have all those responsibilities, go for your heart's desires first, work your way up to the crowning glory. And that's, and quite often, though, this is saying that you do need to make a move of some kind, whether it's like actually physically moving, but you need to make some changes here, because everything in your family is going to suffer, and you have to put yourself and your spouse and your children first, and that's the energy. So you got to find a way to ease some of the burden off yourself, and start learning how to say no to people. Yeah, because this is like a mental prison. So this is the 8 of Swords. And you see this, and this energy, she's all bound up and she's blindfolded, so she can't see a way out. But this is representing feeling duty bound. And like these swords are like surrounding, like they're behind her actually, and she's got one over here. So she could just walk forward, take the blindfold off, and like, bye, that kind of energy. But I feel like there was a lot more water here, and it's dried up now. And so she's got one foot on dry ground, and that's her right foot. So it's like talking, okay, I'm getting out of this mental prison now. And she's got one foot in her left foot, which is the water represents emotions. So it's talking about, okay, she's still got one foot in her emotions, but it's very shallow water now. And I feel like before it might have looked more like, like this. So this is talking about, you're just taking steps of action to be able to change your situation, and be honest with people, and put down anything that you can that is not absolutely necessary right now. Like you might have always been the president of the kids club and doing this or that, or you're the one that always volunteers doing this or that. You need to say to them, my situation has changed, and I no longer can take on that kind of responsibility. I don't have enough time to. that kind of energy, and it will solve your problem. You'll notice if you sit down and really take a look at it, you'll notice where you might be really busy, but there's times where you're busy doing shift that you don't need to be doing. Yes, and then nobody, like a lot of times people don't appreciate it anyway. So this is the 10 of Swords is very clear here. This is saying that you maybe have gone out of your way to do all of these things, and you're in this energy, and you've been, like you're stressed out because like you're worried about everybody, or you can't sleep at night because of it. Like, how am I going to make this better for everybody? And they don't really give a shift. When you're down on the ground like this, they're the ones that stabbed you in the back. And when they see you're down, they'll go find someone else to get that energy from. And you have to recognize that. It's not true of all people, but it's true of most people. And you find that out. That's what you find out, especially if, because you're trying to people please everybody, it affects your relationship. And in my oracle, this is divorce. Divorce from source kind of energy is the worst energy of all, but this could actually represent that your relationship with your spouse falls apart, and now you're getting divorced. And these people will not be there for you because that's not what your position for them was. Your position was to make their life better. And if you can't do that for them anymore, they just walk away. Oh, yeah, they're really down, like they really messed up there. That's the energy. So you have to recognize that. This is talking about being sabotaged by 10 different people, or by someone 10 times, or by 10 groups of people. This is a lot of effort has been taken to take you down kind of energy. And it's kind of like you might have been part of this energy yourself, because this can be self-sabotage when you start, and you start learning to say no to people. That's when they get in this energy. They get pissed off because before you would always say yes. Now you're saying no. And so it's a life lesson that everybody has to learn. And it's just like sometimes your life circumstances change, and you do have to look after yourself. And I'm really getting this energy for you, Scorpio. So you have to know how much you can. And when this happens, it's talking about the end of a cycle. And then that's when you decide, okay, but you could maybe avoid this tower by, listen to the whispers instead of getting the frying pan, or at least listen to the frying pan before you get the 2x4. That's the kind of energy. Then you don't end up like this. You just end up moving on and doing this part, which is a lot calmer, you may notice. So that's the energy. We're going to clarify this, but I feel like that's basically what this is saying. Sometimes we do have to look after our needs first. It's just the way it is, because this could be a blessing in disguise, because the Hierophant, which is traditional structure, who is the judge of like spiritual and 3D matters, has his hand in the form of a blessing. So sometimes when, if the tower hits and you still don't listen, then you're going to end up like exhausted, like totally on the ground kind of energy. And so that's what it's saying here. And it's not necessary. Although I have been in that situation where I'm running, like my father became very, very ill in a 36-hour period. He had Guillain-Barré syndrome, and his legs just collapsed on him, and his entire system shut down. At one point, he couldn't breathe. He couldn't do anything on his own. He was intubated, and he could only blink his one eye. And he, he lived for another 4 years, and he did. He learned how to walk and talk, and every single thing, how to eat, how to walk, how to go to the bathroom on his own, all of that. And he was in his 60s. So it was really challenging. And he was at that time, he was an entrepreneur, and he was running a business. So it was a lot, and it was sudden. Like in a 36-hour period, bang, he collapsed at home, went by ambulance, and the next thing we know, coded at the hospital because he couldn't breathe, about 12 hours later. And all of our lives changed that day, because he was the rock of our family kind of energy. But he was down. This is where he was. That's the energy. And he was the guy that always looked after everybody. And I'll tell you what, there wasn't many people that came to see him at the hospital. He was there for 4 years, and very few, very few. So that's the kind of energy. I watched it with my own eyes, so I seen it. You know, and so it's a life lesson, and it's something that we all, hopefully nobody has to go through it in that way, because that was really challenging. The good thing about it, though, is my dad had a very good sense of humor, and he was 100 pounds overweight, and he would say, he would say, like, that Guillain-Barré diet was the hardest one of all, but he said it was the only one that ever worked for me. But he didn't recommend it for anyone. So he kept his sense of humor, and he did learn he got up, he was walking, he was home for a little while. God bless him. I miss him. He is such an inspiration for me. Anyway, we'll get on with the reading. So this is like and comment if you're enjoying this. And I really appreciate it if you do. It helps me to build my channel. And we will now clarify with my oracle. So my oracle cards are from Tales from the Vector, TAILS. I also have a website, .com, talesfromthevector.com. And I've been working on this since 2007, and in 2020 I completed the 64th painting, and now I am bringing it out eventually here, but I'm playing with it with all of you online. I've had it out and about at my seminars and my at psychic fairs for several years in the past, but it wasn't complete. So now I am playing with it with you online, because I'm getting ready to print it, and I want to put the book that goes with it. And it's from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. So you can check it out in the description box below. I will put the numbers of the cards as they appear here in the order they appear. That's how they are listed in the gallery in my website. All right, and we're gonna see, okay, what's this energy here? Okay, this is what wants to come out. So we have perception. So this is the energy of when the grass is greener on the other side, and then you go over there and you find out, oh, it was fake. That's the danger of the impulsive horse, fiery horse energy. The horse takes you somewhere and you're like, it's so beautiful here. And then you find out that, like there's snakes in the grass, that kind of energy. That's what I'm picking up. And from the bottom of the deck here, clarifying your internal forces, we have this energy of Taurus energy. So this is about the learning of giving and receiving. So that's right in alignment with what this is. That's what I was talking about. Learning how much to give, how much to receive, how much do you pay other people when you pay them, who do you hire, all of that. And if you put your intuition and your logic together, you'll find creative solutions. This is also all about love, like the Taurus energy. Like, think about a toddler, how lovable they are, and how much they don't like to give and take. They like to take, but they don't like to give a lot of the time. They don't like to share. And so that it's that kind of learning how much to share and how much, that kind of energy. Also, what this is talking about is like when I have these horoscope cards come up, I want you to know that my intention isn't to say, oh, well, that person is a Taurus or that person is a Scorpio or whatever. I'm looking at the state of being of each of the signs. All of us have a little bit of every sign in us, and it depends on where it is. If it's in our sun sign, that's where it's most prominent for sure. But we all have a little bit of Taurus in us somewhere, and you can, whatever house it's in, that's where it's going to affect you the most. And so we can learn from every sign. When they come up, it's talking about a certain energy. And this is learning about giving and taking, even with the people you love. Like, you have to be able to receive. And when you do receive, what are you receiving? Like, be careful what you're receiving. Be careful what you say yes to. That's the energy. And then we have Mother's Worry. This card has been coming up a lot. And it could be like because of a decision or a situation like I was describing here. But this energy can also just be like, a lot of people call the earth Mother Earth, and a lot of people are really concerned with what's going on in the, on the earth. And I'd say the solution for that is don't spend too much time watching the news. I don't agree. A lot of spiritual people will say, oh, you shouldn't watch the news at all, because you just make your own reality and then it won't bother you. And I don't agree with that. I feel we all have a responsibility for what's happening on planet Earth. We have descendants that are coming after us, and it's our job to make sure that we leave it a better place. And so we need to know what's going on in it, but we don't have to get entrenched in the emotions of it. And then this is the Empress energy. So yeah, it's about like, once you learn these lessons, you get elevated to the Empress energy quite easily, and you understand like different cultures in that, and you start to enjoy the changes in people and the differences in people. I love that. I love learning about new cultures, new foods, new places. Like, I think it's amazing how we're all so different and yet we're all the same in some ways. And so that energy is all four queens rolled into one person, and being really like able to attract like a magnet what you want to you. It's kind of like you're aware of the problems in the world or whatever, and you're not indifferent to them, but you also recognize that you have a responsibility to yourself and your family and your what you're here on earth to do. And none of us are meant to fix the problems of the world. I mean, it's not, what we do could add to or subtract from the problems of the world for sure. And then, okay, so we have some energy here of temptation, and it's right before this, this energy of being bored. And so that's the problem with this energy, is you don't want to be in like tempted by something and then you find out the grass is greener because it was fake kind of energy. So let's cover this temptation energy and just see, because the devil is not going to give you the truth. And when you're in an energy of temptation, you're probably not going to listen anyway. So let's see who the devil sends in. This is okay. So again, this is I feel like this is a lack of communication, because Virgo energy is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury, and it's about communication. And so sometimes when Mercury goes retrograde, a lot of people will say, oh, don't do any, like, be really careful, because, and it's true, when Mercury goes retrograde, quite often communication gets scattered, and a lot of, you can, not have the clear picture and think you do, etc. A lot of times it feels like computers and that don't work like they're supposed to, kind of energy. So this energy is talking about making sure that the communication is really strong and that what you're hearing is really what's happening, kind of energy. So you don't end up in this energy here. And then we have the lack of awareness. And so, yeah, never underestimate the power of willful ignorance. Like, so when we don't want to see something, we can really not see it. And that's that energy here. Being in a mental prison because we don't want to see something. And then it takes like a real reality check. Like when my dad collapsed that day, it was like, whoa, our lives, everybody's life in the family changed. Bang, just like that overnight. And then that's when we realized, holy, he was really doing a lot, And then we have the superstar energy. I like this. So this is, yes, go inward. Really look, don't be impulsive. Like sometimes impulsive is good, but not right now, it's not. And this is talking about 2026 being a different energy from 2025, and that there's going to be more harmony. And also, like, this is saying, it's one thing to come down from the tree of knowledge and know what you need to do, and do it, but you need to tell people this is why, like say, I just can't take that on right now. I have too much else on my plate, and be okay with it. And then we have the Earth Star energy. So this is about manifesting, and this is all about like the Scorpio energy, manifesting from the sacral chakra. What is the most beautiful gift that we manifest from the sacral chakra is a baby. The gift of love, like a lovable toddler, that kind of energy. And then we have the Aquarius energy coming in. So Aquarius is talking about, it's ruled by Uranus, and it's a deep, it's a deeper energy, and it's talking again what we said. Both Leo and Aquarius are both going to be feeling this energy more than a lot of other people, but everybody's feeling it. And then we have of the full moon, and of this like, should I put myself first or should I put others first kind of energy. So we have the star energy coming in, and this is when we're all meant to shine. And sometimes you have, this is in the position of your commitments, your partnerships, and your marriage, like if you're, like that, committed relationships. And so sometimes you do have to put your needs first. Again, it's saying it, because if you don't, and you don't put your own relationship first, you can't say yes to everybody, and you can't always be there for everybody all the time. And then we have this energy, it's physically impossible. And you can do it for a while, but that's that energy of like just getting so run down that you end up in this, the wounded warrior, right? And so the Aries energy is quite stubborn, like the Taurus energy. Taurus is represented by the bull, and Aries is represented by the ram. So the difference basically is that when a newborn baby comes in, what do? They come in head first. And so it's really rammy energy, basically. And so it's, the glyph is the ram, and it's just talking about really, like, you don't want to be banging your head on the wall kind of energy. But when a newborn baby comes in, they're totally helpless. And look what it's about, being and doing. And so sometimes you just have to be born. That's enough. Like, you're such a beautiful gift when you come in as a newborn baby. And then you have to learn to do. And so think about how much a newborn baby learns in that for 1 year. But like a lot of babies are up on their feet already at 1. And if not, usually soon after, they're babbling. They might even be saying a few words. They're eating solid foods, like they're up on their feet, they're crawling, they're mobile. And so they've learned so much, and no one gives them a manual. They just instinctively do what they need to do, the developmental stages. Unless, of course, there's something, even if there's something that is preventing them from doing that, an illness or something like that, they still have that instinct to do their best to do it. And so that's the energy of, there's we are called human beings, not human doings. So keep that in mind. And then the Wheel of Fortune. So this is turning. So this, when you're in a situation like that, it's so upsetting and it's so difficult. And it feels like it's never going to end. But the one thing we can rely on is change. There's change always happening, which I explained. It feels like Groundhog Day, but it really isn't. And so eventually the wheel starts to turn again, sort of energy. And then we have jealousy. So yeah, when you're in that energy and you see everybody else living like a normal life, and you have someone really ill and it's really challenging, and you're exhausted, you can feel kind of jealous of people who don't have that energy. But this is like, this card is saying, I'd rather be better than bitter. And that's a good attitude to have. And then we have the pride. And so the pride energy is talking about, all or nothing sometimes. So it's kind of that energy where if you can't be perfect, then you don't want to do it at all kind of energy. So you see this, like some people have a perfectly clean house, or they have a perfectly messy house, but there's no in between. It's either one or. And at different times you come to their home and it's perfectly immaculately clean, and the next time it's like a disaster hit. And that's kind of that energy of wanting everything perfect all the time, but we live in a perfectly imperfect world. So you have to deal with that, you know, and be realistic about it. And then the deception. So this is energy, yeah, just feeling like the people that you thought the most would be there for you, they're not. And then there's all these beautiful surprises of these people that you didn't even know, or people that you didn't think would like care that much, and they're on your doorstep bringing you food and all sorts of beautiful things. So, you know, keep in mind that that's that energy. I feel like some of you may be in some sort of situation like this. I've been there. I understand it. It's challenging, and you'll learn the most from it. Like and the one thing, like when my dad was in that situation, I became very close to him, and he was, you know, raised in a time, of course, where men weren't as emotionally available. And so growing up, you know, it was kind of like I didn't really know my dad that well. But when that happened, we got to know each other really well. And I really appreciate that I had that opportunity. So there's always, it's not like you can turn a negative into a positive, but you can find the positive in the negative. Anyway, please do like and comment if you've enjoyed this, if you learned anything from this reading. And consider subscribing to the channel if you resonate. I will be back with another reading for you, and it'll probably be bonus reading for Valentine's Day. Bye for now, Scorpio.